Hey, it's Eric from Junior Breakers Firewood. I'm back. I'm gonna try to split some of this wood. If you guys have watched a couple of videos, when I was cutting up that maple that was in front of the yard, my splitter was kind of off and on, had kind of missing a little bit. At that point, I cleaned it, pulled the card, cleaned everything. Everything looked fine, put it all back together, still was having the issues. Then it sat for 4 or 5 months, had a little bit of gas in it. So yesterday I pulled it into the garage, emptied the tank, checked the filter that's in line under the tank. Everything looks good, fuel's flowing. Pulled the carb, soaked it, cleaned all the jets, did everything. The only thing I see wrong is that there's got 2 gaskets. The outside gasket is not great, but I don't think that should be causing any issues. I finally got it running. It still doesn't sound perfect, but I'm gonna test it, see how I can do on splitting some of this. I've only got about 45 minutes. Hopefully it works. Got a lot of wood to split, and I'm afraid if I take it to a small engine repair shop, 1, it's gonna be something stupid and easy, but 2, they may not be able to get to it for a month or more, right? So I just, with people trying to get lawnmowers in and everything like that, I just wonder if it'll sit. So I'm gonna try it, hopefully it works, and see if I can get some of this Beech split. So thank you for watching, appreciate it. It's so frustrating. So under load, it just won't stay running. You can see it stalling out. Got to be carburetor, but everything looks great in the carburetor. It just sounds like it's not keeping the fuel flowing, and I don't know what that would be. All right, I'm back. You guys saw me trying to split wood yesterday, and the splitter wasn't working. So like I said, I've taken this thing apart. I must have forgotten something, so I'm gonna try to take it apart real quick. If I can't figure it out, I'm gonna order a brand new Kohler carburetor and install that and see if that fixes it. It's gotta be a fuel delivery issue. So what I don't understand is why it'll run fine, not doing anything, and then just start cutting off. So it tells me that it's getting fuel. So the bowl is filling up and fuel is getting to the engine, but at some point something clogs and stops, causing it to shut down. And of course, whenever when it's under load and I depress the valve to split, that you can hear it bog down, and that's causing issues too. So it's either not getting enough fuel, something's preventing that delivery, or it's another issue. But the fact that it runs for as long as it runs before shutting down and when not in use is confusing to me. And I'm no engine expert. I tinker with things from time to time. So actually let me see here, I'll show you real quick. I helped out a job. I cleaned out a shed for a lady, and I found this gem. I was able to keep everything in the shed. This thing looks old. I don't know what year it is, but it's got an 8.8 or 8 horsepower Briggs & Stratton. It's a Coleman. Let me see if I can get that. It's a Coleman electric generator power base series. So it's got 240 and 120, 2 ports for each. This is actually a shut-off valve. It grounds it out. That shuts it off. But this thing had been sitting for a long time, as is. And I took the carb off of this one. It's an old setup here. And it looked really clean, so I put gas in it and it fires right up. This other one came with it, along with the lawnmower, which I haven't worked on yet. This is a PowerMate Max of 3000. It's got 2 120 outlets. This one needed some work. I took off and cleaned the gas can, replaced some gas lines. This one, the carburetor was so bad, I did replace the carburetor on this. And got it fired up, and now it runs. Not perfectly, but that's got a Tecumseh. It's 5.5. Pretty simple. So trying to sell those now. But anyway, let's get started. All right, see if we can do this quickly. I'm just on my lunch break here. Take out the filter. So for this, you got to pull the filter box off, and that actually holds the carb in. So I don't need to remove that necessarily, but we will. Got to move these to the center. Make sure that is off. which it is. 2 10mm bolts here. And I mentioned to you that there's an outside carb gasket on here. And it's not great, but I don't think it's causing the issue. Slides out. So there we have the carb. Choke works fine. Fuel shutoff works, no problem. There is fuel to the bowl. The fuel line is tight. It's going to leak a little bit. I should be able to get this fuel line off, just elevate the line itself. That should prevent it from spilling out. Let's get it ready to go. Don't want to push too hard, don't want to rip the line. See, there's a little bit of gas. So I'll tuck that in here so that it doesn't spill everywhere. And that should keep it from spilling out. Nope, it's leaking. So I need some pliers to hold that in place, but let's just try that. And to move this, got to disconnect this little cable from the carb, and then this one just lifts up and out. So there's a gasket here and a gasket here. That gasket looks all right. No big issues. Drain the bowl. Take an 8mm. Should have put gloves on. We'll say working on with all these carburetors, gas and carb cleaner just dries out my hands. And I know I'm supposed to wear gloves. So this jet is not, it's not adjustable. Just stay there for a minute. Or was that? This jet is not adjustable. It just pops in, pops out. That's been cleaned. Everything flows freely. What I don't have, there should be another jet, like right here. I've seen it on other ones, but there's no way to adjust that, and no way to get that, what looks like a screw, out of there. So I'm not sure why that is. If you can see that in there, it's definitely threaded. Maybe the head sheared off of that? It actually kind of looks like it. So I've never been able to adjust that. I don't know if you can see that really well. Right there, that brass. Almost looks like something's missing off of that. That I have not pulled out and or cleaned because it doesn't appear to have a way to do that. So I'm gonna look into that. But what I can show you is this bowl and everything inside this carb is really clean. I've blown air. I soaked it, cleaned it. Bowls, I got a little bit of rust on the bottom, but that's not scraping off. Pulled the jet out of there, cleaned it, blew air through everything. Float's good. The float valve is not stuck. That opens and closes. Gasket's okay around there. Everything's clear. This is the only question mark, and I don't know if that is supposed to have a head on it, or if that's supposed to be adjustable. And most of the carbs, there's not only this valve here, but there's also another one, right? So there's a throttle valve and an idle valve, I think. So this does not have any of those that I can see. So anyway, I'm gonna post this video up. I'm gonna keep doing some research, look into the price of a new carb to replace this one. And if you guys notice, what am I doing wrong? Like I said, I'm not a mechanic. No offense taken on any advice. I just can't seem to get it. It's a simple engine and it should just run, and I'm missing something. So those of you guys that are experts, I'm sure you'll chime in, but I appreciate it. I'd like to get this thing running and get all that wood split so I can go cut more. All right, thanks a lot.